Namaste. It is a pleasure to be here today to discuss a topic that is fundamental to academic research methodologies. Throughout this presentation, we'll explore different research traditions, understand how research is conducted in social and educational settings, and examine various approaches, including qualitative, quantitative, and mixed method research. We'll also discuss different educational research paradigms. These are the philosophical frameworks that guide how researchers ask questions and analyze data. I am Kiran Babu Bhattrai and I'm look forward to sharing my insights with you today. So these are the topics for discussion. So now understanding social and educational research traditions. So before diving into specific research approaches, let's first understand what social and educational research is all about. Social research is a systematic way of studying human behavior, social relationship, and cultural patterns. It helps us explore important issues such as how people interact in society, how social structures shapes our life, and how cultural beliefs influence behavior. So there are two approaches to conducting social research. Quantitative research, which deals with numbers and statistics to measure trend, and qualitative research, which focuses on understanding people's experiences and perspectives. So let's see some examples. So anthropology can be one of the examples. A researcher might study how traditional cultural practices in a rural community are changing due to modernization. You can see the changes in the society by the modernization, how these cultural practices are being changed. In sociology, a study might explore how social class affects student access to higher education. Psychology researchers may investigate how excessive social media use affects teenagers' mental health. Social research is crucial because it helps policymakers, educators, and institutions make informed decisions that can improve society. So now to talk about education research tradition, while social research focuses on broader societal issues, education research is specifically concerned with improving teaching, learning, and institutional practices. Education researchers use various methodologies depending on the research questions. So here you can see in the screen there are two methods: action research. So this involves teachers or educators experimenting with different teaching techniques to improve student learning. So an example could be a teacher might introduce a new interactive learning strategy in math class and tracks students' progress over a semester. There can be longitudinal studies as well. This involves studying the same group of students over a long period to observe changes and trends. So the example could be a researcher might track how students who participate in early childhood literacy program perform academically over 10 years. So this method helps us understand what works in education and how learning environment can be improved. So now, to talk about social and educational research, social research focuses on human behavior, society, and social structure. On the other side, educational research focuses on teaching, learning, and educational system. The scope of social research it covers broad societal issues like crime, poverty, and culture. On the other side, educational research's scope is concerned with school curricula and student learning. Methodologies could be in social research. The methodologies could be qualitative, which can be done through interview or case studies, and quantitative, that can be done through survey and statistics methods. So education is research could use two methods: qualitative by doing interview, by doing case study, and then the quantitative similarly with survey and statistics method. Applications and outcome. Social and educational research talks about application and outcome, and it aims to understand social issues, influence social policies, and study societal uh, trend. And education research help improve educational practices, teaching methods, and policies. The theoretical framework for social and education for social research is it draws from sociology, anthropology, and psychology and political science. And education researches incorporates pedagogy, cognitive science, and education psychology. The examples are on social research are study on the impact of social media and on mental health, research on income inequality and crime rates, analysis of cultural diversity in workplace. And the examples of education research is study on the effectiveness of online learning versus traditional learning, research on student motivations and academic performance, evaluation of new teaching strategies in primary school. So now let's talk about quantitative research, which is based on numerical data and statistical analysis. Quantitative research is used when we want to measure things objectively. For example, how new teaching methods affect student performance. Some key methods used in quantitative research include surveys, collecting responses from large group of people to identify patterns and trend. Experiment, it is done by testing specific hypothesis under controlled condition. Statistical analyzing, it is about using mathematical techniques to interpret data. So the example could be correlation between income level and job satisfaction. It means a researcher might survey 1000 employees to find out if job satisfaction is linked to salary levels. School conducts a study comparing two groups of students, one using a new learning app and other using traditional textbook. And later on, with the comparison, this method helps in determining which method is more effective. The strengths of qualitative research include objectivity, precision, and ability to generalize finding to larger populations. So after this, let's talk about qualitative research. While quantitative research focused on numbers, qualitative research explore people's experiences, thoughts, and emotions in depth. This approach is useful when you want to understand how and why something happens rather than just measuring it. She talks about the underlying reasons. The common qualitative reasons method include interview. So it is about talking to individuals to gain deeper insight into their perspectives. Focus group, discussing topics with a small group to gather diverse opinions. Observation, it is about watching and analyzing behaviors in real life settings. The examples could be a researcher can conduct interview with the student to understand how they feel about online learning, or a company can use focus group to explore employees experiences with a new workplace policy. The key advantage of qualitative research is that it captures complex human experiences that numbers alone cannot explain. So after this, let's talk about mixed method research. Some research questions require both quantitative and qualitative approaches to get a complete picture. This is called mixed method research, a combination of numerical data and personal experiences. For example, a school might measure student performance with standardized test score, that is quantitative, but also interviews students to understand their challenges and motivation, that is about qualitative. So by combining both approaches, researchers can get a deeper understanding of education and social issues. So now let's talk about education research paradigm. Post positivism, that is quantitative. It focuses on objective facts and statistical analysis. Example could be a study that examines the impact of a new teaching method by comparing students' test score. So interpretivism, it's qualitative. It seeks to understand personal experiences and meaning. The example could be interviewing students to explore how they feel about group learning. Criticalism, that is qualitative. It is about challenges in inequalities and power dynamics in education. The example could be research on gender biasness in classroom participation. Postmodernism, that is qualitative. It examines knowledge through cultural and societal perspective. The example could be studying how media influences students' career choices. Okay, so now to talk about examples of research paradigm in practice. So mathematics teaching, it's post positivism. It study on problem solving techniques in algebra using pre and post test. So it means that one method can be used before test and the other method can be used after test, and the comparison can be made between these two methods. So statistical analysis is important in such cases. So the it limitations is that it lacks students experience insights. So, interpretivism example is a case study exploring students' perception on online learning. So this can be done this can be done by taking semi-structured interviews on student perception, and we can find that some students are engaged and others are overwhelmed, and then it will help us to determine which method is adaptable for teaching. Criticalism example could be research investigating gender stereotypes in classroom participation and how they affect learning. And then postmodernism example could be analyzing how movies and TV shows shape students' aspirations in different careers. And then it can also be globalization portrayal in curriculum. So now integrating approaches and research issues. Sometimes researchers combine methods to gain more comprehensive combine more methods to get a more comprehensive understanding. For example, mathematics education study might use quantitative test score uh, to measure student improvement, but also can conduct qualitative interviews to understand their learning experiences. So this blended approach ensures that both statistical evidence and personal experience um, are also considered in research. And here I have shared my experiences. I have used qualitative assessment as well as quantitative feedback, and it is done by through both survey and taking interview from the students. And the benefit I got is that it helped me to improve the educational level of the students. So this was about integrating quantitative and qualitative approaches. So now, positivism, we have already talked about this as the effectiveness of flipped classroom in the trigonometry. So student experiences in collaborative learning. It's about interpretivism. Criticalism is barriers for low-income students in college entry. Postmodernism is influence of media on career perception. So this can be the issues which can be talked under, which can be discussed under. So these are research issues for each paradigm. So now, in conclusion, we can say that social and education research traditions have been covered, right? So we should choose the correct research paradigm, and it depends upon the research questions. So quantitative research helps in measuring outcomes, and the result from quantitative can be generalized to a large number of people. And then the same thing for the qualitative research. So qualitative research is important when we cannot express something into numbers, but we need to write their experiences, and that is about qualitative. And sometimes mixed method is necessary. So today we have covered social and education research traditions, quantitative and qualitative research method, the role of mixed methods, approaches, different education research paradigm, and each research method has its strengths, and choosing the right approach depends on the research questions we want to answer. So these are the references. And then I think I have tried my level best to make clear about it. So if I'm mistaken anywhere, then I will like to express sorry. Thank you.